Hello and welcome everyone, this is Calebovitsch coming to you with another episode of Deck Check. Oh, I do love it when a good plan comes well together. It is even better where you have two plans for the price of one that can be meshed up quite well indeed. I remember back in the day when I was playing Magic the Gathering, one of my favorite, phenomenons was a thing called a transformation sideboard or transformative sideboard, where in your 15-card sideboard you had a totally different game plan and you could have switched from a control deck to a combo deck, from a combo deck to another combo deck and vice versa. And the thing was, you usually, after the first game of the match, you just shuffled all 15 cards to your deck, then pulled 15 cards out, and your opponent did not know what you were going for. So that was a lot of hidden information, and that was also just kind of cool. I've also seen this, sort of, in Eternal as well, lately. And the best example for that is a deck I have seen and or heard about, not played though. It is just playing Firetime Primal, and just a regular version with a lot of units, spells, etc, etc. But the inclusion of Gardens of Omens, the latest promo site, actually made it possible for you to go transformative into the Diogo combo, Diogo Invoke the Waystones combo, which you just pulled out of the market with your multitude of merchants and or smugglers. Speaking of Eternal, how about combining two memes together for the price of one deck? I give to you, Dude, Where's My Crown? .deck. Yes, it is a very old, almost 20-year-old reference. Let me show you the deck first. So, Dude, Where's My Crown version 2.15. This deck is... Maybe let's start with one leg, and that one leg of the deck has a multitude of legs. Do you guys remember Clockroaches? The Clockroach that is called Clockroach. It is a 3-cost time Clockroach. That is unit type Clockroach, that is unit name Clockroach. That is a 2/2 unit with Echo, which means if you draw it, you draw a copy of it. And on summon, each Clockroach in your hand and your deck gets +1/+1 permanently. And this does not mean Clockroach the unit name, but Clockroach the unit type. So what you did is you wanted to draw as many of those little bugs, and just play them, make them bigger, play them, make them bigger, get them back, play them, make them bigger, maybe throw in some Crown of Possibilities. For units you draw, gain a random skill, and if you can get some good skills on those Clockroaches like, I don't know, Lifesteal, Killer, Aegis, etc, etc, if you get it back, then it gets another keyword, and you just steamroll from there. But Clockroach the Clockroach is not the only Clockroach in this game. There are 3 more. 2 of them are in this deck, one is not. The one that is not is called Time Flies when you're having fun. It is a 1-cost time unit, an O2 flyer that says each player has +2 maximum power. Unfortunately, if this doesn't have ambush from Crown of Possibilities, when you play it, the opponent gets the bonus power first. It was a decent inclusion into the deck, but unfortunately, well, it was a good ramp anyway, but unfortunately the opponents were obviously using it faster than you were, and it led to, I don't know, them playing Champion of Chaos on turn 1. Or different strange, crazy things like that. So out with Time Flies, in with Toctic, a 1/1 Shadow Clockroach with Revenge, just a basic unit. And remember, if it gets killed with Revenge, it is put back in your deck, and when you draw it the next time, you with Destiny, you play it for free and you get to draw another card. But the key word here and in all of this deck is draw. Because each time you draw a unit, it gets a random skill. Not only battle skills, Crown of Possibilities also gives your units non-battle skill keywords such as Echo, Destiny, not only Revenge, but Destiny, Bond, and other crazy stuff. Okay, getting back to the roaches. The last Clockroach that was introduced in the Homecoming campaign a while ago is Grasshopper. The one we know from being the base of Praxis Pledge, a deck that was running rampant a couple months ago for sure, and is still quite good indeed, despite them nerfing Daria. And some other cards? Probably, don't remember. Wasn't playing that too much. Anyway, your units with Pledge cost 1 less, and on Summon, if you have pledged a unit this game, create and draw a copy of that unit, keyword draw. So Crown of Possibilities works, etc, etc. Okay, so this is the first leg of the deck, just having a lot of Clockroaches. So playing Clockroaches means your Tactics and your Grasshoppers get bigger as well. So the further the game goes, the more deadly all your roaches are. The deadlier all your roaches are. So with the keyword draw, you can draw them with Dark Return, draw a unit from your void, gets crowned, gets echoed, gets another summon. If it had Destiny, you get to draw another card, etc, etc, but we'll get to that in a moment. Also, you can get those units back in other ways, like with, for example, Dread, but I'll get to that in a moment. There is a card here called Mirror Image that is not draw, that is play a copy of one of your units, but I'll get to that in a moment as well, why it's in the deck. And one card in the market also says create and draw a copy of a unit in your hand, then the copy gets +1/+1. So everything but Mirror Image says draw, which triggers Crown of Possibilities and triggers Clockroach's Echo. Okay, so this is just you building an army and winning with damage, a lot of crazy abilities, some RNG as well, but RNG makes for some fun games and for sure clips, which you're gonna see in a moment. But hey Caleb, what's the other part of the deck do? What does the other part of the deck do? Okay, so I was thinking one of the roaches is Grasshopper. So why not mix some pledge units here so that it is not just a 1/3 time unit for 2. So, okay, so we have Tactics and we have Grasshoppers and Clockroaches, so we are already in time and maybe even in shadow. So which units with pledge are good? And I thought to myself, hey, there is Severn, the Mad Mage. Kind of reminds me of Baleb on a better day. It is a 4-cost Aurelian unit, which means Time Primal Shadow, with 4 attack and 5 health, which is quite decent stats indeed, with Pledge, which means on turn 1, instead of playing this as a unit, you can play this as one of these 3 basic sigils. Your relics cost 1 less to play and activate, and on summon you get to play a random rank amongst these 5, and they come quite handy indeed. But I'll get to that in a moment. So Severn had been already part of a combo, a 1-turn kill deck for me that I dubbed Severn's iPad because, well, he was using a tablet. So the thing is, you get to put into play a Severn, a second Severn, and a third Severn by, I don't know, drawing more, creating more with Clockroach Grasshoppers, copying them with Mirror Image, getting them back with Dark Return as well. And if you have 3 in play, there is a relic called Vizier's Tablet, is a 2-cost shadow relic that says pay 3 to discard the top card of the enemy deck. If it was a unit, you gain 1 health. The biggest upside of this card is it is not once per turn. Many relics are once per turn, this one is not. So if you have 3 Severns in play, you can play this for free, and you can activate this for free. So you activate this, you mill the opponent for 1 card. You activate this, you mill them for 1 card. Copy, paste, repeat, rinse, repeat, etc, etc. Do over, do over, do over, do towards my crown. And after 100 or so clicks, you get to mill the opponent. Yes, that is a lot of clicking, and when you want to use this part of the deck, you usually need a wrist brace or something, but other than that, yeah, it just mills the opponent, so it comes through Face Aegis, because Face Aegis is just 1 activation of the tablet, getting through that. So yeah, there is that. So for Severn, you need also more pledge units, because just having 4 Severn with Grasshopper is a bit On the lower side of the spectrum, you need more like 10 or 12 pledge units. I only managed to cramp 8 into this deck, with the other 4 being Dread, that I have already started to mention. It is a 4-cost Xenon, which is Time, Shadow, 4/1, charge, lifesteal, pledge. At the end of the turn, sacrifice Dread, then draw another unit from your void. So you can just play it as a 4-cost Dark Return, or if the opponent does not have anything in play, you just smack them for 4, gain 4 health back. If you manage to get some crazy shenanigans with Crown on it as well, like, I don't know, Quick Draw, Echo, Deadly, Overwhelm, etc., etc., it is just that much better. And at the end of the turn, it gets you back, I don't know, a Grasshopper, a Severn, a Clockroach even, so it is quite good. Add to that, obviously, Mirror Image. So Mirror Image is not for the Roaches, it is for Severns, mostly. It can also be used for Merchants, because, I mean, each non-even deck has Merchants or Smugglers. So yes, Mirror Image is a 3-cost play a Severn. And remember, this is play a copy of one of your units, so all summon effects come into effect. So like Glasshopper's summon, if you pledged a unit this game, create and draw a copy of that unit. Or Aurelian Merchants, get a card from your market. Or Clockroaches, make all the other roaches bigger. Or Severn, get to play a random ring. There is also some removal in this deck, as there should be. So we have Suffocates, Annihilates, 2 Banishes, and 3 Displays of Knowledge. But Displays of Knowledge are here not only for being a removal, it also has a mode of draw a relic from your deck. So this is the tutor you are using to get your Visure's tablet if you are going for the Severn combo. Add to that Time Merchants. I mean, honestly, Time Merchants only because Display of Knowledge, 3 main, 1 in the market. You could also use, for example, the Elysian Smuggler. That gets bigger when you have a relic in play, and you have Crowns of Possibilities, you have Rings from Severn, etc., etc. But then you would just play 4th display main deck and have in your market, I don't know, what was that one called? Elvish Smuggler, the 5-cost 2/3 that gets you a relic from your deck into play. Works almost the same, but display is cheaper because when you have your combo assembled, this Vizier's tablet costs 0. So you just play the Merchant for 3, play the display for 3, play the Vizier's tablet for free, and then you mill for free. Just a lot of clicking though. Also to that we have to add 25 power cards. I currently have just 6 crests. I don't want my power to come into play depleted usually. 8 seats. 4 of Mystery, 4 of Wisdom, crests the same, 3 of Mystery, 3 of Wisdom. You have 5 Time Sigils, 5 Shadow Sigils, 1 Primal Sigil. This deck as a whole has very low to the ground influence requirements. Just combine Dread and Severn, honestly. It is Time, Primal, Shadow, and that's it. So just 5 requirements. This deck is not running any Seek power. 1 Primal Sigil is here mostly because Ice Bolt is a card in a lot of decks, and Garden of Omens is a card in a lot of decks that is playing Ice Bolt, which kills one of your units but gives you a basic sigil from your deck. So yeah, it is for that possibility. This deck has a low number of primal sources, to be honest. You only have 4 seats, 3 crests, 1 sigil. But you also can pledge Severn on turn 1, more often than not. I mean, in this deck, if you have the option to pledge something on turn 1, you usually want to do it. Because it's easier to assemble the Severn combo when you pledged it and when you have a Glasshopper or 2 or 3. But also, Aurelian Merchant can get you an Elysian banner from the market. I was thinking a lot about which power to include in the market, and the blue one is for sure the best one. I was also thinking about token of the Aurelian token that gives you Time or Primal or Shadow, but this one usually comes into play non-depleted because you have played a Merchant, so you usually have a unit in play. Rounding up, the market. I started with the banner and the 4th display of knowledge already. We have a copy of Disjunction. It is not usually for draw an attachment from your void, although if you started the game with Vizier's tablet in your hand and the opponent played, I don't know, Shakedown and discarded it, you have an option of getting it back, of getting that combo going, but it is mostly for killing an enemy attachment, for example, some chains or shenanigans or Vara Sanctum or stuff like that. I mean, I am running 2 Banishes main deck, and for a time I was running a Banish in the market, but I'd rather have Display of Knowledge as my removal / tutor and Disjunction for my relic removal. There's also a Twinning Ritual, which helps both with getting 3 Severn or getting a lot of Clockroaches. And remember, this is create and draw a copy, so also Crown of Possibilities triggers here. And the last card here is Luminary Claimer, mainly because I wanted to have something against... I do have something against voids and the opposing voids, whether I'm playing against a Reanimator deck or an Ultra Shift deck or some crazy shenanigans like that. But also it is a decent follow-up to a Merchant if your hand is empty, and especially if you have a Crown in play, because you get to draw this from the market. If you have a Crown in play, getting cards from market is drawing them, which means Crown triggers, gives Luminary Claimer a random skill. You play it, you usually shuffle your void back into your deck, and when it dies it creates 4 more copies with that keyword already usually, and you get to have more good units total. Okay, so that is the market. What do I want to add here? I think I would like to talk a bit about some strategies, some synergies, etc, etc. So first of all, remember, if you play Toxic on turn 1 and then you play Clockroach on turn 3, that Toxic in play does not get bigger. But if it was killed once and is being revenged with Destiny back into your deck, it gets bigger, it can get bigger. The biggest downside of the deck is unfortunately the curve. That is not too curvious as much as I would like it to be. It is very heavy on the 3 slot and it is very low on the 2 slot. So on 2 you can just play Glasshopper or Annihilate, and that's about it. The game starts with you playing Clockroach or Merchant or Crown of Possibilities on turn 3, or getting your Display of Knowledge, and usually the first thing that you want to get is Crown of Possibilities anyway for the memes, more than for your win rate. So that is the biggest downside of the deck, and also remember this deck has a lot of RNG. Well, not just card game RNG that you have to draw pieces of your combo, or the deck is just better if you draw more Clockroaches. But also, yeah, Crown of Possibilities. Units you draw gain a random skill. It can be Reckless, but it can be Echo. It can be Destiny. If you have a Crown in play and you draw a Clockroach, it echoes and both copies get Destiny. So you get to play them for free, their summon effects trigger, and you get to draw 2 additional cards for free from your deck. So that is just a huge bonus, and usually getting Destiny is the biggest upside, or getting Echo on stuff like Glasshopper or Severn, which helps you assemble the combo. The rings from Severn are quite useful. Remember, their activation cost is usually lower, and for example, getting a Granite Ring giving your units +1 attack and overwhelm for a turn is very good if you already have your Clockroaches assembled. Amber Ring is just chump blockers. Emerald Ring can get Severn out of range from stuff like Gun Down from Howling Peak or Null Blade or stuff like that. Cobbled Ring is just looking for additional pieces of your combo, and Amethyst Ring is just some survivability against aggressive decks. And you also always gotta remember this deck really has 2 modes of winning. One involves a lot more clicking, the other one involves a lot more of the opponent cursing your Clockroaches. There is a small downside, or for some people maybe a large downside, to the OTK, the one-turn kill mode of the deck with Vizier's Tablet, and that is you have to click a lot and you don't have a lot of time to do that. So when you have your combo assembled, you click on your portrait. You will see that in the games I'm going to show you. You click on your portrait to get all your relics up. And then you usually, because you have played a couple of Severn, so you have ring, 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 and then you have Vizier's Tablet. So you click on your portrait, you click on the tablet, you click on your portrait, you click on the tablet, you click on your portrait, and the tablet is in a different place in your relic tableau. I don't know if it's by design or by faulty coding or why. I mean, the order of cards, for example, in a booster pack in a draft or on your tableau of relics, is random each time you see it. I hope Direwolf does something to fix that. For example, if you are drafting, and I'm very I'm a good person to talk about drafting, by the way. When you are drafting, for example, and you have your pack in front of you, but then, for example, your game crashes, or you just close the game, or you go back to the main menu to check on some things, and you get back to the draft, and the order of the uncommons and the commons is different each time. So works the same here with relics. I hope they will fix it at one point or another. Also, I hope they fix that your time is not running lower. I mean, let me rephrase that. When I was running the Glimpse of Possibilities combo, it was also a one-turn kill deck, and you had to play a lot of cards during one turn. But for each card you played, you gained an additional half a second or a second, so in fact you were able to play even through your whole deck. That was obviously less clicking than with Vizier's Tablet. But when you're clicking and milling through with Vizier's Tablet, for each pair of clicks, or even more if the relics get shuffled, you don't get additional time. So this one-turn kill takes a long time, and you sometimes are not even able to do that in one turn. And that is where if milling a unit you gain 1 health comes into play, because you usually get your health up by 10, 20, 30 with milling 2/3 of the opponent's deck when your time runs out. And usually afterwards the opponent is not able to win straight away, so you can mill the rest of their deck on the following turn. But I had a game where I was not able to mill the opponent throughout one turn. Then the opponent killed one of my Severns, so I was not able to mill them on the following turn, just a couple of times, then a couple of times, then a couple of times, and they won with exactly the last card they drew on their turn. So that was a lot of craziness and made me a bit salty, but the OTK works. I mean, the opponent can just concede, and sure, it's very nice of them, but you have to be willing to click 100 plus times, because usually by the time you can get this combo assembled, the opponent has 50 to 60 cards in their deck, so you have to be willing to click a lot. Yes, I think I wanted to mention one more thing, but that will probably come up in the games. Once again, this deck is super fun, can even win a couple of times. I think I don't have it right now in front of me, but I think my win rate with this deck is about 50%. It can be improved for sure, and if you know how to improve this deck, just write it in the comments below, or just write it in the comments on Eternal Warcry. This deck, obviously, this deck list is linked to Eternal Warcry, so you can just copy paste and try it out. Okay, so that's the theory. Now let's get to the games. See you on the other side. Hello and welcome everyone, this is Calebovitsch, and right now we're back with games. These are some pre-recorded games just to showcase the deck. Dude, where's my crown? 1 power hands, you just gotta get rid of them. 2 power hands, not the best. 4 power hands with a pledge unit, much better. Okay, so we have all our requirements except from second shadow, but usually in this deck I like to pledge on turn 1, so I'm getting the shadow. Mainly because this is where having glass hoppers, you can get full effect. Sorry, you can get full effect from your glass hoppers. I don't think I need any more power right now. It is obviously much better to start, to go first when you're playing the deck. And right now I am going for a bit more greed with the crown here. So I'm hoping to draw more Clockroaches. And obviously remember, playing Mirror Image on a unit you already have in play does not trigger Crown of Possibilities. Because it's not drawing that card per se. Oh, now I can get another crown or just get a blocker for the Clockroach. So first I'm checking what I'm gonna draw, and given that I'm gonna draw a unit, I'm playing the first crown. Obviously on 0 attack units, a lot of the battle skills are not the best. For example, well, Reckless doesn't do anything, but having... yeah, Reckless, yeah, I even remember that. Okay, so the opponent played Division of Austerity on one of my units, on one of my relics, which means right now if I draw another one, I won't be able to play it. But I went with the Merchant, got myself a Twinning Ritual to copy my Clockroach, and I was very fortunate to get the best get the best skill on a Clockroach, that is Destiny, which means I already played both. Got to play both and for free, and drew 2 cards, so that is amazing. Right now I'm blocking with both. The opponent is on 5 power with double justice, which means it's very probable they will just harsh rule. Yeah, and that's what's happening. But right now I can just play... Oh, getting even more Clockroaches. This one with Revenge, which is the first half of Destiny, and I get to draw a third Clockroach. I mean, not a third per se, but a third Clockroach card that I have started with in my deck. Yeah, the Revenge ones are going to come to be very important for sure, especially that the opponent is playing Justice and they seem to have a lot of sweepers. That means first I'm playing the obvious Revenge one, and then just having a big unblockable. I could have also reversed the combination. That is probably what I should have done, but that's not gonna come into play at all. Probably. The opponent is playing Privilege of Rank just as is, annihilating 2 roaches, but that is just like playing a game of whack-a-mole here. And you can't whack them all, especially when I'm drawing stuff like Dark Return. Okay, I want to Dark Return the one with Destiny, but first I want to attack with this one, because the opponent probably is going to double block, because when this Clockroach is in play, it won't get the buff from that Destiny Clockroach that I'm gonna get from the Void, but when it gets revenged and shuffled back into the top 10 cards of my deck, then it will grow twice from me getting the 3/3 Destiny Clockroach, 4/4 because Dark Return, and it also got Overwhelmed, so playing both, getting to draw 2 cards. One is a Dread with Killer, the other is yet another Clockroach, this time with Ambush. All Clockroaches get bigger by 2, and given that I have Ambush on my units, I can just play them end of turn, also because the opponent is running board sweepers. Okay, let them draw, let them play their 4/4 units. Even Svetja's Sanctum cannot withstand the 9/9 Clockroaches and bigger, and the opponent is even getting rid of Ice Bolts because they won't be able to withstand the Clockroach army. Okay, end of turn. Play the ambush one. Yes, good Caleb. And get to draw something. Dread. Can Dread get me something? If I can Dread back the Destiny one, it's going to be oh so awesome. So let's just attack with everything and let the opponent decide on what they want to do. Also, if you play Dread and you end the turn, the opponent usually... I think the opponent does not have an option of a stop and killing that Dread. The Dread is automatically getting killed, and you get to draw your unit from your Void for sure. I'm not 100% on that. I would have to check with some rule settings. So yeah, I'm playing Dread, and I am not playing the Ambush Roach. I'm also playing getting the Destiny one, but I think that was a mistake. I should have gotten the other Destiny one, the bigger Destiny one with Overwhelm. That was a small mistake. I'm drawing 2 cards. One of them was the Revenged one, and I am drawing a lot more. It is the other Revenged one. With Destiny this time, I am drawing even more cards, and oh my goodness, that's a 9/11 Glasshopper with double damage. Sorry, a 15/17 Glasshopper with double damage. So the opponent, Vara, does not do a lot right now. I'm sorry, Vara, the Clockroaches are just bigger right now. Okay, the opponent does not have a sweeper, so this is probably just going to be a lethal attack, especially that I can ambush a 16/16 roach into play. And if the opponent blocks one of my roaches with Vara, I can give that unit quick draw so that Vara dies before she can A, kill the roach, B, gain 5 health for the opponent. So this is just a lethal attack. Math, in theory, is for blockers, but right now even math can't save the opponent. This is just impending doom. I mean, 16/16 ambush Clockroaches. What the heck is going on, right? So, bye-bye opponent who was on 14. Right now we are in the negatives. Also, Var died. Also, minus 23. And more roaches in hand still. So that was the first mode of the deck, kill with roaches. Hello and welcome to game 2. This time we have a bit more power, but we have 3 cards that reference units which I do not have here. Okay, there's a Severn and a Glasshopper, which means I'm gonna pledge Severn. I should pledge him for time because A, it will allow me to play Glasshopper on turn 2, and B, double time requirement is necessary for Dreads and for Clockroaches. So Severn. Hello, Severn. Time, yes. Turn to Glasshopper. If Glasshopper is not killed, turn 3 Severn. And turn 3, 4, 5, when we are starting, that should usually be just enough pressure on the board to get the opponent to start acting defensively. Okay, the opponent played Sky Crag Seat and a Yeti, which means with me having defensive units and a removal in the form of Display of Knowledge, means I should go on the defensive for a couple of turns, but then I should be good here. So playing Primal Sigil and playing my Severn, getting which ring? Amber Ring, which means a lot of blockers. Should be good against an aggressive deck. So let's see if we can withstand this opposition. Playing against aggressive decks usually means you have to get into a more mid-range stance, get your Clockroaches bigger to 4/4s, 5/5s, get a Severn or 2 in play, be on the defensive, let the opponent waste all their resources and just win. And just win like a mid-range deck. So the first game was like an aggressive deck. This is a reactive mid-range deck, more likely than not. Okay, so I'm fully on defense here. I am getting rid of one of these crests because I do not need them. And given that I have a Dark Return in hand, I am also going for a Twinning Ritual, because if, for example, the opponent kills my Glasshopper... Ooh, Clockroach, yes, that is perfect. That is exactly what we need to stop the opposition. If the opponent kills my Glasshopper, I get it back with Dark Return, I copy it with Twinning Ritual, I played 2, and I have 2 additional Severns, and I have a display to combo. Unfortunately, the opponent Ice Bolts my Severn, which means they are able to attack right now for 2, because they have no more power. I will just block one, block the other. The Berserk second attack will come through, but I am still at 22, minus 1 from Nightfall, that is 21, but I am drawing additional cards. I do not care that much about Berserk, because I will be able to play both of my Clockroaches this turn, which means having a 2/2 and a 3/3 in play at the least. Also a Dread, which can get me a unit back. I am dark returning my Severn for sure. I think I will play a roach and the Severn. I am not attacking, not at all. Roach. Yes, come on, play the roach. Don't be afraid. And no, going for the other roach. Okay. Oh, I remember. I think I wanted to go Twinning Ritual for the Severn. Okay. Now let's see what the opponent does. I mean, they are in a tight spot right now because I am starting to play bigger units into bigger units into bigger units. I'm still at 21, which means they will probably not burn me down from this much health. And yeah, they are out of gas, they are just giving up, and that is another way you can win just by doing the mid-range stance. The third game is not recorded offline, but is actually from one of my streams. And this is why you're gonna see some comments above my head, etc, etc. Okay, this is not the greatest of hands because I only have 1 power, despite the pledges. I mean, pledge and the power is still not very attractive. This version was still running time flies instead of tactics, but I mean, you can do one, you can do the other. Both have their upsides, both have their downsides. So let me just show you how the other version would work. Glass hopper with no pledge, unfortunately, but that means I can merchant it out to the market. Also, probably the market, this is an older version of the deck. I think the market can have another card in here, one you have not seen yet. And the opponent just plays turn 2 Vishni. But that is okay, we have no void right now. Fortunately, I drew my second time source, which means I can both kill Vishni and get to play... Yes, this is the old version of the market that I was talking about at the beginning of the video. But I mean, it is quite similar. You just don't have the tutor in the market, you just have the crown, and you don't have disjunction, you have the banish there. Plain and simple, and you have time flies instead of tactics. The deck works roughly the same. The opponent is probably playing some sort of Uldra deck, maybe with some other effects. Yes, I have seen the Quake Titan there, and the Smuggler and Vishni, maybe even Uldra. They are killing time flies, so they are denying themselves and us the additional power. Right now I'm just going for the crown and just trying to go for a good win here. And some good RNG as well. Vara's favor does not hurt me at all. The opponent killed our time flies, so they're now just scrambling for some power. And I think it is high time for me to either get a card from the market or play a Clockroach. And I think I can either get the Glass Hopper out, get Luminary Claimer, and next turn reshuffle the opponent's void so they cannot Uldra at all, and just make their day a lot worse, because Uldra would give them a lot here. So right now, Luminary Claimer targeting the opponent, they reshuffle everything, and I am very happy. I have a smug look on my face as well. Devour on the O2, so they can get a 2/2 Gargoyle with flying here. Also drawing 2 cards, but right now Uldra does not do a lot for them. Okay, what else can we get here? Severn with Echo. Okay, having Echo on Severn is quite nice because it's 2 for the price of 1 and we just need 1 more. And if they kill one of these and we dark return it, we get the other one. So yeah, probably going to combo in this game. Just need a Vizier's Tablet or something like that. Okay, so the opponent killed Luminary Claimer, so we get to get 4 more into the deck. And they already have the Overwhelm, was it? Yes. Okay, this one is getting desecrated, which means Dark Return on that, probably. Sandway Smuggler with shift or without. Without. Well, that doesn't really matter. Display of Knowledge can get us the last combo piece. I am getting the Echo Severn, both as 5/6s, both with charge. so I can go full on aggro here. I'm also playing Severn out, the bigger Severn out right now, because the opponent can have a Null Blade, and it looks like they have a torch. No, they do not have a torch. They just want to get rid of everything because they have Uldra. Yeah. So playing Uldra, getting that back, shifted. They can switch another card, probably a removal right now. Still have a seat in hand, but they are not applying any aggro on the board. I am killing this one and playing the second charge, and it is game. But even if the opponent did not concede right there and then, I had the third Severn in hand and Display of Knowledge, getting the tablet back and being able to OTK the opponent as well. Okay, I wasn't able to showcase the OTK Visure's tablet and doing a lot of clicking, but if you catch one of the VODs from my previous Twitch streams, you can surely find them there. Also, I'm just usually these days I am playing this deck on my stream, so you can also catch it there. Okay. So once again, this is the deck. It is not the best of decks, but it is a very meme-tastic deck. Has two modes of winning. You can either flood the board with Clockroaches, making them 16/16 and even bigger, or just have 3 or more Severn in play and mill the opponent with a Vizier's tablet. I hope you enjoyed this video and this deck. If you have any questions, just post them below the video, or you can just catch me on one of my streams. The link to the deck list is in the description of the video as well. Hope everyone enjoyed the video and the deck, and hopefully see you on one of my streams. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.